Hello, boys, girls, and everything in between. This is Rhetoric Gaming, and I'm here to talk to you about Fallout 4. That's right, Fallout 4. Not so much about any amazing leaks or anything like that. Sorry, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not lucky enough to get the game early. But I do have an interesting thing to actually share with you, which is what I am going to be doing as my character build. You guys might agree with this, guys might disagree with this, but either way, we're going to talk about it. I'm about to make a video on it. Let's roll straight into it. So, we have two sites that you can either use. You can use www.rpg-gaming.com/fo4.html, or you can use NUKAHUB with a bit more of a longer, one. But yeah, you can use either one. But for the purpose of recording, I'm not actually going to be using NUKAHUB. I'm going to be instead using the RPG Gaming one. The reason why is because this one looks prettier. It gives something more for you guys to actually look at while we're looking at this video. So I'm going to go ahead and close that one. Both links are going to be in the description for you guys. So let's zoom up a little bit on this. Alright, you will be able to see ads on your one. It's just simply because I have ad block, which is right up here, which I'm now going to hide the button for. So you guys will see things up there for you. Alright, so I actually have two different sets of special numbers and special combinations that I actually prefer, like whichever, whatever. But let's go through it from the start, just for you guys to get what kind of thought pattern I'm going through here. So, a lot of people have been focusing on what perks they want, and this ends up becoming kind of tedious, because when you've been watching videos about Fallout 4 and all that, I assume you have been, because I've been way too damn hyped for this. So, when I've been watching it, a lot of the character builds I've been seeing from people are all really damn similar. Essentially, they're getting armorer, they're getting locksmith, they're getting a decent amount of endurance, usually only up to life giver. Then they usually have charisma all the way up to local leader because they're so excited for the settlements. And then they have intelligence up to 6 for science. They have agility wherever it is. A lot of the time, this is where a lot of people start to trade off one thing for another due to preferences. Agility is seeming to be a little bit of a throwaway, mostly because the most useful perk there for early game is at number 1, which is Gunslinger, 20% more damage with pistols. And why is that so useful? A lot of the games you're going to get from the early start of the game are going to be pistols, at least the better tier ones, things that are not pipe guns. And we just know this from previous games, so it could even be that we get thrown a curveball here. But that's the reason why people do use agility as a trade-off tree. Then finally we have luck. This is usually where the trade-off goes into, because some people would be looking for Bloody Mess, some people would be looking for anything above. I've even seen some people going straight into Grim Reaper's Sprint, and I can understand that. That is a bloody excellent perk. Anyway, but this is what I'm thinking of doing. So I have two different things, and to understand why I do this, you actually have to understand what my 4 favorite specials are, and that is Perception, Charisma, Intelligence, and Agility. And if we can actually narrow that down, I can narrow that down to 3, and that is actually Perception, Intelligence, and Agility. Charisma is important to me, but not as important as the other 3. Specifically in this game, it's become a little bit more closer into the spotlight, and yes, it is because of local leader. So, this is what my first build is, the first one that I came up with, and I realized it's so damn close to other YouTubers. And that is 3, 4, 3, yeah, that's a 4, 5, 6, 5, and 2. Missed out a number. Yes, I did. There we go. And the reason behind this was because I wanted to be able to... Actually, let's move into this one because it's a little bit easier. So, what I wanted to have is armorer, of course. I also wanted to be able to have locksmith ready and available. I want a decent chunk of endurance, especially because life giver is a seemingly pretty good thing to be able to pick up just randomly. We've got charisma, which everyone's been going down to local leader, but I actually did a trade-off here, and I brought it a little bit down. My reasoning behind this was because, as I said earlier, charisma is not as important to me as some other of the special stats. And the reason why I put it down is because I believe we're not going to be encountering settlements too early in the game. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to be encountering settlements probably around the level 5 to 10 area for the first time ever. I'm not talking about pre-made settlements, I'm talking about player-made settlements. And the reason why I think it's like that is because I think you have to at least get somewhere closer to mid-game before the settlements are going to be any sort of a thing. Anywhere before seems like you're not going to be powerful enough to be able to make a settlement. But, either way, that's just my thoughts behind it, and that is why charisma ended up being a bit more of a trade-off for me. So, onwards, we have intelligence. And intelligence I got up to 6 with science. The reason why, of course, is because of weapon mods and whatnot. We then have agility, which I got up to 5. Reason being, I wanted Action Boy. Action Boy is a damn cool perk, and it's about your action points and how fast they regenerate. Why is that so useful? Sprinting, VATS, there's so much. Those are only 2 things really, but that has so much use now. Action points are so damn useful. So those are important, and those are something that I want to keep an eye on. Then finally, I put a few into luck. Why didn't I put 3 into luck like most other people? I'm not too fussed on Bloody Mess. Yes, I understand that it actually gives you a bit more of a bonus damage buff, 5% on the first perk. But it's not something that I start playing around with until later levels when I get a little bit bored. And the reason simply because is the gore is just funny, really. And I honestly think that's the main focus of the perk. So, myself, it's not a preference. So, if we're going to level this up, I'll level both builds up to 5. My first, to level 2, my level up would probably be maybe straight into Action Boy, or I could either do Sneak or Locksmith. Let's go for Locksmith for the moment, because I honestly believe that'd probably be the kind of thing I'd do. What's going on here? I don't know if I can actually... Oh, there we go. Never mind. Got it. Alright. So, I leveled up Locksmith, got it, done. I understand this side a little bit better now. And then, on my 3rd level, I would probably then get up Action Boy. So, Action Boy, done. For my 4th level up, I would most likely get Scrounger, which is something I honestly should have got earlier. I just remembered about that one. And then for level 5, I would probably go straight for Armorer. Those would be the first 4 perks I'd be focusing on, and I think either build really. Except, the other build has something very important that I actually wanted to point out, and this is probably the build I'm going to be favoring. Now, finally, for the build that I revised and thought suits me a little bit better, this one is an Perception and Intelligence build. Now these two, if I was to go back to what I was saying earlier, narrow it down even further, the 2 special stats I would focus on the most are Perception and Intelligence, and there is a very specific perk that would help that out. So, for this one, we're going to go 3, 6, 3, 5, 6, 3, and 2. Now the reason why I did this one is because the first perk I would get is actually Night Person. Now Night Person would mean that at the later hours of the game, going around, prowling around, I would be able to get extra intelligence and extra perception during those twilight hours. Which, then if you complement that with Sneak, you have yourself a little bit more defense in the earlier parts of the game. Then, my 4th level up would most likely be Scrounger. And then finally, one of these, I honestly don't know where I'd go for here. Let's just say Locksmith. But that is what I'd most likely say I would be focusing on for that one. So that's my major build. If you want to have a look at that again, what I reckon I'd be favoring is Strength by 3, Perception by 6, Endurance by 3, Charisma by 5, Intelligence by 6, Agility by 3, and Luck by 2. So that's what I believe to be the build for my character I'm going to be favoring. If you guys want to share what you want to make your character to be, down below, please do so. It would be great to see some friendly faces in the comment section. This has been Rhetoric Gaming, and goddamn, is it so close to Fallout 4.